Hi, welcome to a Barmy Army podcast. Tonight I'm joined by Shane and Matt. Are you both okay, guys?
Yeah, not so bad, thank you.
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Good. Tonight we are going to be talking about the game against Manchester City on Saturday, and then the game against Manchester City tomorrow, and a few things in between as well. Let's start with the game on Saturday because that's probably the main conversation point for tonight. Let's start with the team news. There was only one change from the starting 11 against Arsenal, and Shane, you called it a week before when you said, I wouldn't be surprised now if Jess started. So, with that in mind...
I know I wasn't.
You weren't surprised. But was it a risk starting Jess, who I adore, after only playing 45 minutes of football?
There's always a risk, I suppose. I think given how well she played in that second half against Arsenal, it would have been hard not to have started her. I mean, she definitely made a strong enough case for herself. I guess it depended on what the game plan was for the first half. If we were going to just absolutely go at them and almost do what we did in the second half against Arsenal, but do it in the first half against City, then what maybe that was the lineup she had in mind. All those are the tactics, but obviously kind of the reverse happened, and then Hansen was brought on at half time this time round, and Hansen was the one that made the difference.
So, quick question, because I've not done my team yet for tomorrow night. Is Kirsty starting? Because if you say she is, I'll do it.
I don't know. I haven't even thought about it myself yet either. I am struggling. There's so many that haven't played that could start, and yet there's also the fact we've got no league game the weekend now not for a few weeks again. It could be the first team is starting again. It could swing either way. I really don't know.
No, I'm stuck.
Flip a coin, I think.
That's what I'm going to end up doing. Matt, you make no bones of this. You are a massive Katie Zellum fan. You don't hide it. You don't hide it. In fact, you're quite proud that she is your favourite, and I have the utmost respect for that. So, were you surprised not only that she didn't start on Saturday, that she didn't even get on the pitch?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised that, she didn't get on at all. I think, we all said during the watch along that Hayley was having an off day and perhaps we needed to make a change to shore up the midfield. So I don't think it was a surprise when Hayley was brought off, and I think, in all honesty, it was going to be a choice between either Katie or Lucy Stan, and for that game, Casey thought that Lucy was the better choice to come on, and to be fair, when she did come on, she played very well, and let's not forget it was only a very good save away from grabbing the winner. So, Casey clearly knows what she's doing.
Shane, were you surprised Ellie didn't come on?
Yes, in some ways. I didn't think it was one of Hayley Ladd's better performances. So I thought at some stage that she'd probably take her off and put Zelly on. I mean, it's going to sound weird to say it this way, but in some ways, credit to her that she didn't, because clearly there was still an element of the game plan which Hayley was crucial to, so kept her on. Maybe she was better performance-wise on what Casey was measuring her against than what I was or what anyone else was. What might look, not good to me might have actually been good enough for Casey. So there's always that to take into account. I think I was probably in a way more surprised Katie didn't start. I would have thought in a way that we'd have probably gone with the 2 DM approach and had both her and Hayley on at the same time. But in a way, I'm kind of glad we didn't, because it showed our intent for the game. And again, tactically, all credit to Casey, because she changed it at half time, and whatever it was, she changed it, it worked.
So just a quick question to you both. Does Katie start tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That's probably one that I am sure of, and I'm not going to have to flip a coin on.
No. I've got Katie starting tomorrow night as well. So I think it's fair to say that the first half probably wasn't the best performance we've ever seen from the team. Casey came out after the game when she did her interview with BT Sport, and she said she's taken full responsibility for that first half. She didn't get the press right, I believe was her words. Was it the tactics that you think, Casey said obviously we got the press wrong. Do you think the tactics were wrong, or do you think City in the first half kind of dominated us more physically than most other teams have done this season, Matt?
I think, to be honest, first few minutes we actually started pretty well. We were clearly trying to take the game to City, much in the same way as we did against Arsenal. And, when they were trying to play it out from the back, we were pushing forward, trying to put Ellie Roebuck under pressure in case of a mistake. But then, I don't even know what was going on in that penalty area for Chloe Kelly's opener. But it just seemed like that goal kind of drained all the confidence out of us. And, everything that we'd done so well up until that point just fell apart pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, Casey said that the corners in the first half, we got the first contact, but it was in the second phase where we didn't clear it. Shane, what was your thoughts on the way City approached us in the first half?
I think first of all, I agree with Matt. I thought, the first 2-3 minutes, we looked like, this is ours. We're going for it. And after those first couple of chances that we had, then, I think Casey used it as they started picking us off. They just played through the press that we were operating. I know a couple highlighted that Jess was probably more tasked with going up against Greenwood, which then left Emmy Stokes free on the left to go forward as she pleased almost. And then Stanway, of course, was targeting Honor, which kind of left Honor being doubled up on and either out of position at times or just being run ragged. Second half, obviously with the introduction of Kirsty, it's been suggested that she changed that tactic of the right winger and kept Kirsty on Demi Stokes then to stop her going forward. And then I think she said Tooney was tasked with going on Greenwood. So she kind of just tried to nullify what they were almost countering us with in the first half. Counter the counter, as they say, I suppose. But, I mean, it worked. Whatever she spotted was wrong and fixed. It worked, and all credit to her.
Yeah. So let's talk about the first goal, in a way. Probably not the greatest bit of defending you're likely to see. And I think Honor during the first half, and we said during the watch along, Honor was getting pushed back instead of Honor dominating and getting pushed forward. Just before we talk about the goal, Shane, were you kind of taken back a bit by Honor's performance in the first half, or were you just thinking she's against a better player than we probably had this season?
In a way, yeah, which is testament to her almost, because she had such a good game against Chelsea at the start of the season. There was, good performance against Birmingham, against Arsenal. She's come back from injury and absolutely bossed it. So there was always the expectation or the hope that she was just going to carry that form into this game, and everyone has a blip every now and then. So it was just unfortunate that seemingly blip was against Man City. So yeah, I was surprised a little bit, but then it happened. I thought she did better in the second half. So, again, whether anything was changed tactically with her or whether it was the tactics further up the pitch which just allowed her to operate as she needed to or defend a bit more organised maybe because she was only having to deal with one and not two players. So, yeah, credit to her for improving in the second half as an individual on that one.
Yeah. So let's go back to, so as we said, not the greatest bit of defending you're ever likely to see for the first goal. So Matt, from your, you were in the watch along with us with the first goal. I'm not sure what did you make of the goal?
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what was going through Casey's mind. I think there are some occasions where you just have to clear the ball, even if that means just booting it into the stands and resetting for a corner, just get it clear. At the level we play at, that's just not acceptable. And if you defend like that, you get punished, as we were.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest. And she had a lot of freedom in the box for that goal to be taken. But as you rightly said, the second goal, that they kept pressing us, and as you rightly said, Matt, we were getting. We had chances. The Kristen Press chance when she turned on it. If that was at the other side, then that might have been a goal. There seems to be a technical problem with the comments. We're not seeing any of the comments on the screen. So really apologise if you're putting comments in. We can't. For some reason tonight we can't see any of the comments at all. So sorry about that. But hello everyone.
Hello to the 11 Johns in the comments. No doubt there.
Yeah, full start with the Johns.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kristen in just for a moment. She's obviously come with a massive world superstar. She's got 2 yellow cards, which I know. The first time she got on the pitch, she got a yellow card, and that made a certain somebody in this chat, Shane, very happy. That was her welcome to Manchester United. And she's how much does she need to score some goals, Shane, to get her confidence up?
She's a striker, so she always needs to score. But and that it doesn't necessarily mean it will have to be scoring to break a duck or to find form or anything. Naturally, as a striker, you will just want to score, be it 1 goal, 2, 3. Jane Ross, or any, I couldn't resist that one. Sorry, but yeah, no, I mean, I want her to start scoring. I think she does need to. That's not to say she isn't contributing in other ways, but I think for her, the next step up, if you like, in improvement will be start putting the ball in the net more. I mean, she had a couple of really good chances against Arsenal. On another day, those probably go in, and we're having a completely different conversation because she's probably scored another 3 goals since then. But it's just how it goes. There's goals coming from other areas on the pitch, which at times in the past we haven't had. Last season, particularly as well, you almost end up with one outlet for goals, and the odd 1 or 2 might get one here and there, but you've got one source of goal scoring. Whereas this season, there's quite a few people who've already scored goals and more than 1 too. So, I'm positive. That's the word. I'm positive for what's still to come from her, I think.
Matt, do you think it's just she's still getting used to playing with the team, and she just needs to just get into the positions to score where she's comfortable? Is it that simple?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not that worried at the moment because it seems like she's doing just about everything but score. She's creating chances. She's getting into good positions. Every time that we go forward. Kristen and Tobin both seem to be in amongst it every time. So I've got no doubt that, the goals are coming. I think, because she's got the profile that she has, there's obviously that expectation on her, and there's going to be more of a spotlight on her. But there is no doubt in my mind that the goals are definitely coming.
So let's move on to the unfortunate, the second goal. But before we do, I know John Fry is watching. He always does. I personally want to give a massive shout out to Amy Turner. She was brilliant against Arsenal, and I thought she was brilliant again on Saturday. Just how important is Amy Turner when she plays as a central defender to that team? We joke and laughing about saying, and I'm sure if we could see comments tonight, people will be saying she's the Nemanja Vidic or the Jaap Stam of this team. Is it that simple, or is it she's she will put her head where she has to defend the goal? Shane?
I think you're spot on. Maybe to quote a phrase that was used for Vidic once, Amy Turner could swim through concrete. She's that solid. But to be serious, she's been very important, and she's adapted well last season to be moved out to right back when a lot of us, me included, thought actually she's probably going to be, the bench option or the backup centre back, and ended up doing a solid job at right back. This season now, or at least for the last 2 games, she's been moved back to centre back again to cover for Abby's injury, and she's just slotted straight back in like it's water off a duck's back. She's been, I know she was a shout for player of the match against Arsenal from quite a few, and I know there was a bit of stick our way from the 4 we picked and that she wasn't included. But, in testament to her, because, especially Arsenal, of course, because there was few, but, Amy in particular, I think it's just her standards. And Casey obviously trusts her to do a job, and she does a job well. And long may it continue, because I think she's still going to be very important for the rest of the season.
So, Matt, I'm going to stick you right on the spot. Really sorry. Someone has to do it. So let's say Abby Mac's fit. We don't know she isn't. We don't know she is. We've not, Does Amy Turner deserve to start tomorrow night, even if at centre back, even if Abby is fit?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Basically, for me, Amy's first choice ahead of Abby Mac. Obviously, we know from our time in the Championship that, Amy and Millie have a great partnership at the back. We even have a chant about the Turner and Turner partnership. She is solid. Yeah, you can, we all can make jokes about, comparisons to the likes of the Nemanja Vidic, but she is that solid defender, and for me, a more reliable defender than Abby. Obviously, Abby Mac has got a lot of experience both in the top flight and international level, but for me, it feels like she's always got a mistake in her. I don't think you can necessarily rely on her week in, week out. But with Amy, you see her name on the team sheet, I'm just like, yeah, we'll be fine. Amy's got this. So, yeah, for me, she definitely starts tomorrow night. And, with everyone fit, for me, she's first choice alongside Millie.
You see, I love Amy Turner. I make no bones about it. She's a proper defender, and on the MUTV currently, they've got the Newcastle game from '96, and it's when you look at the centre back of at the time, it was Bruce and Gary Nev for some reason, but for me, when you look at Bruce and Pally, they're the same for me as one of them is interchangeable into Amy T. Nemanja is obviously the one that we all put the comparison to. Shane, I'm now going to talk about your favourite subject with you, England. This week, obviously, Phil. Made his new squad. Were you surprised? We knowing that Abby's got a slight knock. Were you surprised that Amy wasn't in the squad, even though there's no friendly? It's just a training camp.
To be honest, no. Purely because I think, other than the younger players that are coming through, obviously there's some new young players being selected and called up. I think Phil in particular has probably settled on his senior players in the squad. And I think as a senior player at club level, you're going to probably find it very difficult to now get called up if you haven't for a long time. To be honest, from Beth's perspective, I'm happy that she isn't, and that's not to be a slight on her or anyone, but it keeps it fresh for us. We've got a game tomorrow, and then we've got.
Well, we have comments.
Hey,
we've got
comments as well as games.
Yay!
Wow.
This is a revelation.
Go on, sorry, Shane.
But she gets to rest now. Unless she'll still be training, and Casey will no doubt work them hard. But there'll be a couple of days off involved in that. Between tomorrow's game and playing Villa at start December, so it gives her a chance to recover well. That she's fresh for that league game, I guess. For her, I think if I was to be sentimental, it'd be nice to see her get called up again at some point. Even if it's for like a farewell game or something like that. It is your next and last England game, but it wouldn't trouble me too much. So as I said, that'll be purely a sentimental thing, sort of on her behalf, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not surprised that she hasn't gone up this time.
Well, just before I go to you, Matt, we can see comments again, so I'm going to stick some up. Namrata Riley, we could stick Amy in goal and she will do a job for us. I don't disagree with that, actually.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. Deborah says Shane loves him, so Shane's not going to argue with that.
It's not for him tonight, though.
And talking about tomorrow's team, which we'll come on to a bit later. Let's talk about the other talking point of the game. Again, Lotte Rockvist not starting. She was on the bench. And Leah again starting at left back. Matt, is it one of those situations where Tobin Heath is going to play? It's a kind of accepted thing. Yeah. Tobin likes to play on the left. Obviously, we've got Leah, who plays on the left. So is it one of those things that we're going to have to get used to, that Leah's going to play at left back instead of Lotte for you? Or is it just these couple of games?
I think considering that it's happened, 3-4 times now, it probably is. I think if it had just been, a one-off because Lotte was injured or something, then that's one thing. But despite the fact that it's not her natural position, Leah has come in and done a pretty decent job at left back. And as you rightly say, obviously, if Tobin is fit, Tobin starts. She is one of those players that's really hit the ground running for us. So, obviously she's going to be in the team. In terms of the left back issue, I think because Leah's, as I say, done a pretty good job in that position since she came in, then Casey probably feels that there's no need to change it.
Now, obviously, this week there's been a certain amount on social media about Lotte that she's wanting to leave potentially in January or even the summer. for someone who's only played, and it is literally a handful of games, where do you sit on it? Are you saying, yeah, she needs to go? She came in with big shoes to fill, and she's not, or is it she's not had the chance to prove what she can do yet? Matt, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I think obviously I'd like to have seen Lotte get more of a chance. I think if the Conti Cup group had been a little kinder to us, then we might have seen her get some more chances there. But if she did say that she wanted to leave either in January or at the end of the season, then I couldn't blame her, because I'm sure that she's got ambitions of getting into the senior Sweden squad. She's played at under 21 level, but I don't think she's actually been capped at senior level. I think she was called up once, maybe, but I'm sure she will be aware that there is a Euros on the horizon at the end of next season, and Sweden have, of course, already qualified for that. So, there may well be something in her mind thinking if she's going to have a chance of getting into the thinking for that Sweden squad, then she needs to play games. She's literally not even always making the bench. So I think from her perspective, it will be completely understandable if she does feel like she needs to move on.
Apologies again. It looks like the chat's frozen on our end again, so we're not seeing anything new. Apologies. There's obviously issues tonight, so apologies for that. Shane, where do you stand on the whole Lotte thing?
I think she's still got a chance to prove herself, and I hope she does. Because I think that there's times, Rory spoke a few weeks ago about her. There's times where she has done some quite good things. Of course, there's times where she slipped up, but if you're not playing and you're not playing regularly, rather, and you're a bit pitch rusty, then you've got to expect a couple of mistakes every now and then. In terms of Leah, I suspect that's more of a big game thing, and come December, I think we might see it changed up a little bit. I mean, if we remember against West Ham, Tobin played on the right, and Leah was on the left with Lotte at left back. So I suspect in December we could probably see something a bit similar to that. Maybe she'll rotate Leah and Tobin. I know there's not, at the moment, there's no midweek fixtures for cup games or anything like that in December. So we're quite literally going to play, 3 fixtures 7 days apart each time. So you're probably going to get consistent squad there, maybe. I would hope she gets given a chance, and in some ways, given the news that's come out, hopefully before the end of the year, because I think it'd be nice for her to at least see the season out if she is going to move on. Especially given that we've got some defensive knocks still. We've still got Martha out, Kirsty's got a knock. Leah's covering at left back. You're only an honour injury away from a complete meltdown, aren't we? So, yeah, I hope she stays. I hope for her that she proves herself, because I think she's probably got it in her. But, maybe it'll be different come the end of the season.
Very quickly to both of you, does Lotte start tomorrow night? Hang on, let me get a pen and write down, because if Shane says so, then it usually happens. Matt, does she start tomorrow night?
I hope so.
So that was just for those of you out there who are unaware. That was Matt sitting on the fence. Wasn't going to say yes. I don't know. Shane.
Oh, I don't know either. I will say yes, and it's purely based on the City might not start Lucy Bronze. So if that's one of the threats down the right-hand side gone, maybe Leah will play further forward, and Honor can come in at left back. Not Honor, sorry, Lotte.
Right. Let's talk about City's second goal. So Amy Turner, for me, put her body straight in the. She blocked the ball, came out, rebounded, and could, and obviously they scored. Could, in either of your opinions, Mary done any better, or was it a? Well, it was a bit of a wonder goal. Shane?
For me, no. I don't think many are going to save that from where Mary was stood. It was a really good strike. She hit it sweetly and it's rifled in. The issue with that goal is how we dealt with the build up to it. I mean, there's not a fact like you can do about the rebound off Amy, other than if someone gets to that loose ball quicker. I suppose we've got to acknowledge that it started from a City free kick, I think, and Chloe Kelly was offside when the ball was played. But that's I know we spoke on the weekend about the ins and outs of that decision and the linesman positioning. You can't always rely on these officials to get these calls right. So you've got to make sure that you're covered and you're not the ones making the mistakes. And in that situation, we didn't cover ourselves in any glory. We could have got the ball cleared, and that chance could have been, not even happen.
Yeah, obviously, we all watched it. It was offside. It was clear to see it was offside. The lino though was a step ahead of their player, so in his eyes, she wasn't offside. Matt, in that build up to that second goal, do you think the defence was slow to react after Amy blocked the initial shot?
Definitely, yeah. I think, as Will said, we all know it was offside, but we also all know from plenty of bitter experience that you can't rely on officials in this league. But even so, the fact is they were given far too much space, and you could argue that it was a lucky deflection of Amy, but somebody should have been a lot closer to it so that when that loose ball came, we had a chance of getting to it, whereas we just gave City all the freedom they needed. And again, we got punished for it. Do I think Mary could have done better with it? No, I don't. Well, I've had my issues with Mary this season and towards the end of last season, but I don't think she could have done better there. I think we should have defended a lot better so that they weren't able to get the shots away in the first place.
And that goal came, for us anyway, watching it, probably came at the worst possible time, just on the whistle for half-time. And during the watch-along, there was people in the watch-along saying, well, Casey's going to go in and absolutely rollick him for that. That wasn't good enough. And in fact, from what Casey said, it was the opposite. It was, I got it wrong. This is what we're going to do. And as Shane, Shane, as you said, Jess went off, and Kirsty Hansen came on. Just before we talk about the second half, what was your thoughts on Jess's performance, Shane, in the first half?
It was a bit indifferent. If I'm honest, she looked off the pace, which is a complete contrast to how she was last weekend. Now, makes you think, was there an element against Arsenal that she was on in the second half and their defence are tired? But personally, I wouldn't say so, because at half time, if you're that tired, there's something wrong there with fitness levels. So, yeah, she just didn't. She looked like she'd lost the yard of pace from what she had the week before. I mean, it happens. Thankfully, we've proved now either way that we've got capable backup options or let's call them what they're called, game changers, to come off the bench and change the game when we need them to. So, whilst you don't want players to underperform or not be able to perform to their best, if they are, you're almost pretty confident that there's someone who can come on and maybe take the pressure off them by, like Kirsty could have done. Kirsty had such a good second half against City that not many really talking about Jess having a not so good first half. Likewise, the week before, there's not many comments saying, "Oh, Hansen didn't have a good half against Arsenal." Probably because Jess had such a good second half when she came on.
So, into the second half, as we said, the swap's made, Jess goes off, Kirsten Hansen comes on. And at half time, ref must have had his magic 8 ball out, or he looked into the future, or he did something, and he said, we need to score early to be in with a chance here. 5 to 8 minutes into the second half, we scored. Now, Matt, I thought it was a great goal, and I don't think any goalkeeper in the world would have probably saved that shot. How important was it for us to dominate early in the second half? Because as you said at the very beginning of this, we dominated early in the first half and we didn't get anything out of it. So how important was it in this half to completely dominate and grab an early goal?
Oh, absolutely vital, because, we score early as we did, particularly the quality of goal it was. I think it gave everyone a lift. I think it was something like the 54th minute, something like that when Toby had scored. So, it's still early in the second half, and we think, right, we're right back in this. Let's go. But if we'd have got to sort of the hour mark, something like that, and City was still, a couple ahead, I think it would have been difficult for us to come back at that point, because I think then their experience would have shown and they'd have been able to see the game out. But I think, as I say, the fact that we got an early goal second half, the dominance that we had paid off. That was so key in us getting back in.
So, but for me, what changed in the second half was we became the aggressors. If you look at our first goal, I thought we were really aggressive, the way we were running them down, shutting down the space. Shane, obviously, you wear the badge, you wear it with pride. No one liked watching that first half. So, the second half coming out with that bit of passion, that bit of aggression, was that pleasing for you to see?
Very much so. I mean, that's what you want. I mean, ideally, you get it for 90 minutes. I'm sure players, I'm sure Casey, I'm sure they all feel the same way. But yeah, after putting out what we did in the first half, which, okay, by Casey's own admission, it was her tactics that ended up with that level, with that performance. I don't think that will completely absolve the players of any blame, because they're still the ones implementing the tactics she gave. So, did they just not implement them properly, or did they just not perform to the level that she needed, so she had to make those changes? Only they will know that. But yeah, 2-0 down against a team like City, and you come out of the second half and you show that it actually means something and that you give a damn. It's very pleasing. I mean, I think I said on Francams to Deb, it reminded me so much of the FA Cup game in January, where we've gone in 1-0 down at half time and City scored early in the second half. We're 2-0 down then, and I think Lauren come on, got that goal. Then there was another goal, and then there was a third goal, but it actually only counted as the second goal. But it typifies what a United team's about, I think, with that kind of fight back and that kind of passion and spirited performance. Tobin was just magnificent in that second half, and for the time that she was obviously still on the pitch for, especially with her goal, like she hunted it down and then just hit the shot. She didn't think about it, she just hit it. And there's so many times we're watching these games where players get into positions and we're all shouting, just shoot. Stop trying to play 10 passes around the box and get a tap in. Just take a shot. And that's what she did. She took a chance. There was no guarantee it was going to go in, but maybe it was because it was Tobin. But if you don't take take the opportunity to shoot like that, you're never going to get those goals go in. 8 out of 10 of those shots will be saved, but the 2 that go in might count for something. And this time, one of them did.
Yeah, as well as Ian saying we need to score early, I had my Main Road 93 season, 2-0 down at half-time. We came back and we should have won, and we won 3-2. And that's what I thought would happen probably in the second half. And I was only a goal short, so thanks. The second goal came from a corner. Now, in Casey's post-match interview on BT Sport, when she was talking about the second goal, she said that that's what you get when you put in world-class deliveries from corners. The corner was a great corner. It was well taken. Bless you. So, because at certain points throughout the season, and I'm going to sound like one of those people on social media who say all these things. Some people would say our set pieces haven't been great. For me, as a football fan and someone who used to play football, not at any decent level, but used to play, for me, the first thing you do at taking a corner is you beat the first man. And sometimes the team have been guilty of not doing that. But, Matt, the set pieces this year, the corners, Tobin, when she's been on the pitch, she's taken a majority of them. The service it's completely different.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, how impressive have you been with the set pieces this season?
Yeah, I think you're quite right in that, they have been a mixed bag, to say the least. Obviously, in the past, that's mainly been Katie's responsibility, or one of them. As you rightly say, recently Tobin's been taking them and the delivery's been fantastic. Leslie has a lot of good points, and I'm sure I'll speak for everyone when I say I hope she gets better soon, but set pieces are not one of her strong points, bless her. They have been poor. So yeah, it's been a mixed bag, but we seem to have found now 2 players, fortunately, that we know are effective from them. And I think it's quite telling that both of the 2 players that are proving effective at taking set pieces are 2 of the real leaders in the squad.
Right, Matt, I'm going to put you I'm going to put you on the spot now. I've already done it to Shane.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot again then. So at corners, right now we have Tobin, Leah, or Katie. Who's taking your corners? Shane's thinking, thank God that's not being asked to me.
I think if I'm thinking with my heart, I'm going to say Katie, obviously, but thinking with my head, I think it's got to be Tobin.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say probably Katie on free kicks, Tobin on corners for me.
Okay. Fair enough. And so Katie's still taking the free kicks. She's got a good enough record.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Scored one against City.
Yeah. So second goal, corner comes in, and it becomes a bit like Pinball Wizard. But Shane, Kirsty Hansen came on at half-time. For me, she made a complete difference in that second half. She gave the team, I don't know, probably, I don't want to say energy because the energy was there, but she gave something, and the game had changed, whether Casey had tinkered with the tactics, which after her comments, we presume she did. So the goal itself was, as Casey said, a world-class delivery from the corner, gets in the box, and the reaction for Kirsty to score. It was, for me, it was a great moment.
My head went. My head absolutely went. I mean,
I thought you were the only one, right?
No, I don't think I was either. Yeah, I mean, would the reaction have been different if we'd have been winning? I don't know. I mean, those games are always big enough that any goal is brilliant, and you're always going to give it that little bit more oomph with a celebration. But I think, the way we'd been in the first half, and then the corner comes in, Kirsty gets that second attempt and just puts it in there, which again, she probably wasn't even thinking too much about it. She just saw the ball and just hit it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can overthink lots as attacking players, but when you don't, they just go in. And the players' reaction was everything. I think that was all of us. Kirsty in particular. I'm surprised if she's got a voice left after the game. But I mean, if I want to quote a very wise man from the weekend, I have to tell you that's the advantage of putting a corner right underneath the goalkeeper.
Don't do that. I'm putting my phone off just in case. Because I know I'm going to get that. He's going to be on his phone to his sister now and going, "Oh, look at me. I'm the oracle of it all." You're not really. So the goal was scored. I know you couldn't. Thanks for that. We're level. At any point during the rest of that game, could you see any other team scoring but us? Matt?
No. I think we had the real momentum at that point. And let's face it, we were only Ellie Roebuck's fingertips away from winning it. I think I couldn't see City coming back at that point, no.
Jane, Lucy Stan, we've seen the picture which you love, and obviously Jake would have been ecstatic if that would have gone in. And as Matt said, the Ellie Roebuck's fingertips just got it. Could you see any other team but us scoring after we got back to 2-2? Could you see City's City just go, that's it, we're done?
No, and I mean, it's always possible, of course, and it would have been a massive kick in the face if it had happened. By that I mean City scoring when we're at 2-2, because after coming back like that, it would have been so deflating. But I think we had the momentum, and again, much like the FA Cup fixture in January, we had the momentum in that, and in some ways we should have won it. If you base it on that second half performance, we should have won it. And like as you both said, Roebuck, we know she's a very good keeper, and between her and Demi Stokes on the line, they've kept out that standing fourth header, and that was the difference between 1 point and another 3 points.
If just for personal entertainment, if anyone gets a chance to have a look at any of the photographs from that game, if you can find the one of Lucy Stan heading the ball, it's taken from behind Lucy. Just have a look at it. It is a brilliant photograph. I'm actually considering buying it off Getty. It's that good.
Gifted to Jake.
You're going to frame it next to the Champions t-shirt there.
Maybe. We'll see. I'm not. Before Deborah gets on to me, I'm not buying it. I'm not.
If it had been a goal, you would have done.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so I think 2-2. It was a complete game of two halves. I think that's a fair assumption. First half, not really that good. Second half, much improved, and we should have won it. Before we talk about tomorrow night's game, I want to pick up on a point, and I don't know, in Casey's interview on BT Sport, and I'm going to quote Casey, so I can't get done for liable on this. Casey said when she was wrapping up the interview, they said, you better go and get ready to prepare for City again on Thursday. And Casey said, yeah, bit boring, isn't it? Now, was that I'll come to both of you. Was that a tongue-in-cheek answer, or was it in a way she's kind of being serious that, you know, in the Conti Cup, we've had City the last 2 years. We've had Everton 3 years on the bounce. We've had Leicester 2 years on the bounce. We've had Reading and Shane, your stat man. Sheffield
We've had
United.
Liverpool twice now. We've had Liverpool twice now.
Yeah.
So I know I'm going to upset a lot of people, but does the Conti Cup, even though it's, you know, it's done by groups and things like that, do they need to be spread out more? I know people will say there's a lot of travel needed for fans, but it is a bit boring, isn't it? Because we've played City Saturday, we're now playing them again on Thursday. You know, we should have played Everton a couple of weeks ago. We've got to play it, you know. Is it a bit boring the way the Conti Cup is done? Shane, I'll come to you first and then on to Matt.
A little bit, and a lot of it's down to the number of teams that are in it. I mean, you've got two leagues, if you like, of what should be 12 teams. I know there's only 11 in the Championship at the moment. And it also comes down to the fact that only one of those leagues is full-time professional. I know there's some teams in the Championship that are training full-time, but you know, from a professional standpoint, there's only one league, and the group stage and the fact they split into North and South, and they try and keep it all geographically reasonable, it's probably down to the fact that the Championship teams are mostly part-time. And, you know, either squad availability or, you know, due to travelling midweek, you know, Durham, for example, can't be going and travelling down to Lewis on a Wednesday night or vice versa. So I think there's too many different angles as to why it happens, but it does leave us in this situation where you just end up with the same teams every year. And, you know, we're always going to get 2 games against City a season in the league. Last season, it was the, you know, opening game of the weekend was City in the league on a men's international weekend, so it could have been played at big stadium. Likewise for the return fixture that never actually happened.
Yeah.
Then you had your first game in the Conti Cup group. Then, by the way, we've just drawn you in the FA Cup as well. Whilst the games against teams like City and Liverpool are never ever boring because they're rivals and you are so up for them as a game in isolation, when they're so repetitive, yes, it can then become boring and maybe take a bit of shine off it as well, off the occasion, because they're so frequent. You almost don't want to dampen the rivalry by it happening all the time. When you imagine having to play City every 2 or 3 weeks, you'd just be going, oh yeah, right, here we go again. You know, it's this, we know what happens here.
Matt, your thoughts? Does it need to change? Does it need to be a drastic? You know, for example, for me, we live in Manchester. So, you know, a couple of miles up the road, you got Blackburn, Championship winning team. You could get them. But for some reason, they're drawn in a different part. Are they trying to put the big teams together so 2 of them will go? Is it? Am I being that cynical, or is it something else?
Well, I mean, I actually worked out the other day that tomorrow will be the 5th time we've played City in the space of 14 months. And that's with the return league game last season not happening and the season being curtailed 3 months early. So with everything being normal, if anyone can even remember what normal is anymore, we would have played them 6 times in barely over a year. I don't mind the fact that it's regional. I think there is a definite logic to it, especially as, you know, as Shane was saying, in a normal season, 2 rounds of games will be midweek, and that would be difficult for, you know, a lot of the Championship teams. But I think they could simply say, right, if you've got a group of 6, you have to have 3 WSL teams and 3 Championship teams in each group, so that there is a bit of balance. Yes, there will still be some occasions where the same teams are playing each other, but I think if you at least make sure that there is some kind of balance, it would be better for me.
I mean, just to add on to it as well, I mean, in a way, Mark, I'll share your cynicism because, I mean, look what team got relegated from the WSL last season. We were always going to end up in the same Conti Cup group this season.
The minute Liverpool got relegated, I knew we were going to get them in our Conti group.
Because it gives the fixture a chance to happen.
Yeah. So other people were already half jokingly predicting we'll get them in the FA Cup as well. Because it's the only way we can play them.
So we've had a little bit of cynicism talk. Let's talk about tomorrow night. Second derby in a week. Anyway.
It's only been a week, has it? Oh, that's gone quick.
Can't believe it. Let's talk about the team very quickly. Mass changes or a few here and there? Shane?
I wouldn't be surprised either way, but my gut feel is it'll just be a few here and there. And it's mainly because we've got no league game this coming weekend or for a few weeks again. So, we don't necessarily need to rest anyone if we don't want to.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I know Casey's actually said herself that any changes that will be made will probably be more likely to be, midfield in the forward areas. It's unlikely we will see many changes, if any at all, at the back. I can't remember who it was said earlier in the comments that for them there should only be one change at the back, and that's Rambo and goal. I think that is the only defensive change I would potentially expect to see, but I think there will be at most 3 or 4 in all honesty.
3 or 4?
Impressive. At most.
Right. Okay, I'll have to start working my team out for tomorrow. So before we wrap it up, there is another part of a conversation another conversation I want to have very briefly. It's come out this week that the club have written to the FA about the postponement of the Everton game. Now, to my understanding, there's been no decision. Well, there hasn't been a decision made yet. To my understanding, there is 2 outcomes that are possible. Firstly, the FA just go, hey, nothing we can, just tear the letter up and say, carry on and you'll play the game. Or the second option is Everton have to forfeit and it's a 3-0 win. Now, take off for one moment. Well, let's come to you first, Matt. Out of those 2 options, which one do you want? And I know you're going to say the 3-0 win now because obviously that's what most people will say.
To be honest, I think there does need to be some consequences for Everton because of the way everything was handled was pretty shambolic. But to be honest, I would much rather play the game because let's just say, for the sake of argument, we're awarded a 3-0 win and that ends up being what gets us through as one of the best runs up or whatever, then that will always be leveled against us. That the only reason why we got through was because we got that result handed to us. I would much rather play that game, and then if we get through and get the win, or even if we win and it's not enough, it's on our own merits. We've done it the right way, and if we don't get through, it's because we haven't got the result and we simply haven't been good enough. So I think something does need to happen because I don't think Everton should just get away with it the way that everything has happened. But in terms of the game itself, I would much rather it's played and we play out this group in the proper way.
I will come to Shane, but I'm gonna predict Shane's answer might be slightly different.
Yeah.
Oh, I could be wrong there.
Honestly, I'm with Matt in a way. To be authentic, I'd rather play the game and get the win that way. Plus, I mean, either way, I'd want to keep the 3-0 streak up against Everton in the Conti Cup. It's been 3-0 both seasons, so I want to go 3-0 again. But yeah, I think, like Matt said, if you play the game, you through on your own merit and you're not getting a handout. That said, I think you're also right about consequences and, what may come of it. I mean, Friday the DFA might just do an investigation into what happened or the timeline that it was raised. I think we know that Casey was told, or United were informed at like 9:15 at night, which is less than 24 hours before the game. So, with that in mind, I think we know Everton have apparently put 2 potential midweeks in December forward to host a fixture. I think we'll also have Leigh Sports Village on standby, with everyone ready to come in at the drop of a hat to accommodate the fixture in case anything happens again. But yeah, overall, I'd rather play the fixture, but you know what? If the FA decide now we can't do it, you were in the wrong, United can have the 3 points and you're forfeiting the game, then I won't really complain because, it might get us through.
And and there's a final question to both of you because you'll both be in the watch along tomorrow. I'm going to. It's very simple. Are we going to win? Yes or no? Matt, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, 2-1 United, I think.
2-1. Wow, that means he's gone for scoreline.
Why do you people do this to
me? You don't need to give a score. Just are we going to win?
No, like everyone keeps telling me it's going to be 2-1, and I can't take these narrow score lines. United win, of course. United win tomorrow.
So just for those
it's never simple.
you that don't know, it's going to be 1-1 until the 93rd minute, and then they're going to score. It won't. Hopefully, it'll be done well before that. Yeah. Again, I'd like to apologise for what's happened with the comments tonight. No idea. They've been coming through sporadically on what I can see. So again, apologies for that. Next week, Deborah's back. Hopefully she'll be able to see everything. It's probably something that I've done. I'd like to thank Matt and Shane for joining me. Don't forget the game's on MUTV tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, and also on the FA Player. And if you can't watch either of them, get onto our Twitter stream, and you can follow the refs' Twitter highlights, shall we say. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye.